It's a pleasure to be here. I'll try to be as straight as possible during this presentation. My name is Vinícius, and there are two things very difficult about the solution that I work on. The first is my name, Vinícius, and the second one is the name of the solution itself, which is Senhasegura. Besides that, believe me, you're not going to have any traction that you have to demand to go through that. So, best luck for you, and congratulations on have Homesing on your back, because they are one of our best partners. So today I'm going to be talking about trends in the PAM market according to Gartner. You have my contacts, that's my personal mobile, and you can reach me at any time. So that's the content that we're going through. So first thing we will talk about is who is Gartner and how relevant their opinion is on the market. Then we're going to cover the importance of privileged access management. We're going through the trends on PAM market according to Gartner's. Explain to you how they report the results that they call Magic Quadrant, and give you a little bit of the position of Senhasegura in those reports. All right. So who is Gartner? Gartner is one of the three most important research and consulting institutions in the world regarding to the cybersecurity. They were founded in 1979, based in the USA. They have over 16,000 associates, and they are present in most than 100 countries. In Europe, beside Gartner's, we also have KuppinGco and GigaOm. They are all public sites, so you can search. Today, we're talking about Gartner, all right? So what do they do and where they are? So since they are a consultant company, they are across all those segments, though we're going to be talking a little bit on something that is inside information technology. So PAM is inside information technology and inside security and risk. I believe that everybody feels that at this time we are in a privacy era. So everybody is creating tools and rules to protect data. For example, like governments are now creating those standards for GDPR. Mostly of them are common for every single countries. We have some particularity. For example, I have countries that I work on that all the governmental institutions have to have at least 5 PAM users. So it's great for us. But what we used to say is that data is the new oil. So that's how we feel now. Let me talk a little bit on the importance from the hackers during a cyber threat to get a privileged credential. Actually, what happens is that the increase of the connected devices such as IoT, cloud, big data, they increase the amount of processed data, which increased as well the number of privileged credentials. Only 61% of the data breach includes privileged credentials. That is the target of every single one when they want to breach your environment. Just for you to have an idea, the average cost involving a cyber attack that has a privileged credential is something close to $5 million. That cost reduces to $3 million if you don't have access to a privileged credentials. And driven by the COVID situation now, the healthcare industry, when we have a data breach on the healthcare industry that involves a privileged credential, we are talking about $9 million cost. So if we have someone from the healthcare industry there, I would be considering very strongly to have a PAM solution. We have several cases on that, success case and stuff like that. Privileged access management has been 2 years in a row, in 2018 and 2019, as the first one on the 10 most important project for information security. PAM provides knowledge that is needed for you to be able to manage your environment. So if you have such kind of solution, you're going to have visibility of all the assets connected to the infrastructure. And obviously, you're going to have the respective credentials and individual privileges. As well, PAM provides you a traceability with all the actions. So you're going to be able to see the videos are recorded and you have a background on that. You even have behavior analysis. So with that, you're going to be able to completely manage your environment. We have a saying that it's impossible to track what is not managed, and it's not possible to manage what is not known. Even though PAM was not specifically mentioned on the top 10 security projects in 2020 and 2021, we have several ones that are related and covered by that. And I would like to raise two of them. One is driven by the COVID and now the remote work that we are facing. So it's secure your remote working force. Since you are working outside of your protected environment, several tools are being created, such as VPN-less tools and stuff like that to protect the workforce. And as well, password-less authentication. Recently, Windows has launched a tool that works in that direction. So this is hot. This is just an overview of the PAM market size from 2018 to 2024. It's expectedly an annual growth of 10.7% yearly up to 2024, reaching $2.9 billion revenue market. So not only big, it's still growing and a lot of greenfield. So let's compare a little bit the PAM market trends regarding to the current years of 2021 and 2022. By 2022, 70% of the organizations will implement PAM practices for all use cases, okay, which is a significant growth of from 40 to 70%. Also, 90% of the organizations will recognize that mitigation of PAM risk is a fundamental security tool. Today, we have only 70. Well, it's still a big number, but it's growing 20%. And 60%, over 30% that we have today of the organizations will realize the business benefits of PAM. One thing that I like to raise is that the interface between the user and the solution is important for the success of the usage. Some solutions are so complex that they use only 10% what the tool can offer. Let me move forward on that. Okay, so what are the main associate challengers to implement a PAM tool according to Gartner? The first thing is that the implementation can be complex and costly. So an easy deployment, it's crucial to have success and easy adoption of a PAM tool. Determine which PAM features are most important is a second step. So a very strong roadmap and a map of your environment is important to understand together with the support with the vendor. Discovery and management of privileged access. This is another thing that is important. So a very good discovery and onboard tool is very important to have a smooth deployment and rollout of this solution. And the last one, to fully mitigate risks is in a particular environment. That is also something that is related to an easy adoption. Some solutions, as I mentioned, some solutions are so complex that the user only get 10% of available resources. Some IT administrators consider loss of privilege to have a PAM, which is not the case. Some solutions are so complex, they don't feel comfortable to use, and they create cultural barriers to that kind of solution. Talking about the maturity and how the marketing is going against through Gartner. So the earlier adopters are moving to a high maturity phase of PAM, and they are chasing us with a lot of new potential upselling opportunities. Small and medium business companies are adopting PAM, this is something that in the past was pretty much driven by enterprise, by big enterprise. Now, small companies are choosing that as well on early stages, which is good. We used to say that it's not a matter of how, but it's a matter of when you're gonna have a data breach. The next one, mitigation to cloud. We see that not only for PAM, but most of the vendors are eliminating the perpetual solutions, and they are moving to cloud on subscription, SaaS, and MSP. And last, by 2024, close to 50% of the PAM users and organizations will implement a just-in-time model. So, supporting the previous slide, the basic capabilities, which are the features that has been used for the new companies that are adopting PAM now, which are pretty much the usage of the vault, the video recording, the governance, reports. Then they're going to be moving to advanced capabilities, which is going to be PAM just in time and some PEDM. And then the last would be something like DevSecOps, which the emerging needs are going through and the enterprises are adopting at this specific moment. So when we're talking about the people, the companies that are entering the PAM market now and going to the basic capabilities, we are pretty much talking about the PAM functionalities. Advanced capabilities, we would be talking about privilege, allegation, and delegation mode, also called as Senhasegura Go. And the mature companies are going for DevSecOps, what we call DSM. So this is the portfolio of Senhasegura. We also have certificate lifecycle management and VPN-less access, which is pretty much covering the ground of the remote work. So you want to implement PAM in your company. So what to do based on that requirement, on that feeling? The first thing that you have to do is to create an inventory of use cases to understand what are the gaps and where do you have to act. After that, we go to the second stage, which would be to map these cases against PAM functionalities, selecting to be able to create an RFP and then select potential vendors. If you need, we have a reference for RFP divided by verticals that were built in our 20 years experience. So we can help you on show you where you should protect yourself and what are the points that you should be looking for. This is an agnostic information, just actually to help. And it's very important to evolve the IT and security team always, not only for the decision, but also to get them engaged and to get a leverage. As I mentioned, sometimes this seems like a roadblock and a lack of privilege, but this is not, it's the other way around. And that's after that, you just have to decide and deploy a specialized PAM solution in your environment. So just highlighting what the main experts of PAM have mentioned. They are researchers, agnostic from Gartner. So manage privilege access risks is virtually impossible without specialized PAM solutions. Just, I don't know, some people knows Gartner is pretty worldwide known as a huge company, but let me explain a little bit how they report what they measure. So pretty much they check the marketing position and presence and strategy that pretty much drives on the completeness of vision, which is in the bottom, and is the Excel of the Gartner Quadrant is on the bottom, as you can see. And the ability of execution, which with them, they list the 4 strengths and the 4 cautions. They evaluate several deliverables, such as functionalities, scalability, deployment speed, facility, ad zone price, content, usage, support, material, everything. Based on the results of that and so on, and many others, some of the points are mandatory. So if you don't have something, you're just gonna be cut it out of the Magic Quadrant. And then divide that by niche players, which is the entry category, visionaries. This is where Senhasegura was positioned in the first release of the Magic Quadrant in 2018. Challengers, which is going to be with a very good capability and ability to execute, and then leaders. So this is the result of Gartner's 2021 Magic Quadrant. In the first release of the Magic Quadrant, we had 14 players, 14 vendors were in that. That Magic Quadrant was only released again in 2020. By that time, we had only 20, and now, as you can see, we have only 10 vendors, all right? So, as you can see, Senhasegura was positioned as challengers, with a highly ability to execute, and we were positioned as the second best company technically in the world. There is a saying from Gartner that says that smaller vendors, who would be, now have more capable and less expensive offering than large PAM vendors. We are, even though that we are a 20 years old company and we are in the PAM for 10 years, we are definitely the smaller player in the Magic Quadrant. So, Senhasegura results that our 4 strengths. Our pricing is highly competitive. We were below the average for all evaluated scenarios against our competitors. Innovation. Our dev team is very strong. And not only that, they are very quick and very focused on customer support. So we have rapidly improved our capabilities. We have delivered several products in 1 year, such as Domon, and we got the best DevSecOps of the market. And we were considered, that's not my words, those are Gartner's, one of the most technical advanced PAM solutions. Talking about our product, we have the best-in-class account and discovery on board, which means that our rollout will be very quick and easy. We just need a range of IP and we discover all the credentials that we have inside the environment. And we also have the best-in-class privileged task automation, which, guys, is not an add-on, is free of charge, included in all the PAM that you got, as well with application to application and discovery mode, free of charge. And customer experience. So this is something that I want to highlight. We, since the beginning, were a LATAM company, and we start growing a lot in the Middle East, Southeast Asia, and Europe. We have grown last year 65%, 65. So we had to have a solution that is easy to deploy, easy to use, easy to roll out. So we were awarded with the customer first badge from Gartner's with 4.85 star, and we had, oh, this information is not correct. It says that we had 90% recommendation from end user. Actually, we have 98% recommendation from end users. So we are a very strong company. Our solution is very smooth to deploy. Actually, we have videos in the YouTube that from deployment to use the first credential, you're gonna take 7 minutes. So I had 20 minutes. I tried to be straight. I hope that was clarifying to understand what is gonna be the next step in the market regarding to PAM and to explain a little bit what we do. As a last step, I would like to thank you again. And if you need anything, please contact me at any time.